Have you ever wondered why the woman who used to light up this home, the wife who laughed easily, talked endlessly, and noticed every little detail, now often sits in silence, quick to anger, distant in a way that's hard to explain? Why the dinner table, once filled with laughter, is now mostly the clinking of silverware, and the space between you seems to grow wider with each passing day. You might think, well, that's just what happens in a long marriage. Many people blame it on age or time or routine, but the truth is, it's often the result of quiet wounds, of feelings left unspoken, of small dreams slowly pushed aside year after year. Some women once held on in silence. They sacrificed, waited for a kind word, a caring glance, until one day no one seemed to notice anymore. And some men never meant to cause harm. They were simply carrying the weight of responsibility, and somehow along the way lost the path back to the heart of the woman beside them. This isn't a video about blame. There are no villains in this story. We are all people who once loved deeply, and sometimes simply forgot how to love well. This video is about understanding. For you, if you're a husband, it's an invitation to look deeper, into the heart of the woman you once adored. And for you, if you're a wife, may this help you feel seen, heard, and gently held. If you've been feeling a growing distance between you and your partner, or if you've been carrying a quiet sadness with no one to share it with, I invite you to stay until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear might just be the key to unlocking a door that's been closed for far too long, right inside your own marriage. Now let's get started. Number 1. Not abandoned, just forgotten. There was a woman who once whispered to me after a quiet conversation, "My husband never left me, but in 28 years, he's never once asked how I'm really feeling." That sentence stopped me cold, because it wasn't a complaint. It was a sorrow so old. It had settled in like wallpaper. Familiar, quiet, heavy. Many men aren't cruel. They still go to work, bring home a paycheck, sit at the dinner table every night. They show up in all the ways society says a good husband should. But somewhere along the way, they stop showing up emotionally, in the way their wives actually need most. They don't ask, "How was your day? Are you feeling okay lately?" Or even something as simple as, "What can I do to make your heart feel a little lighter tonight?" When we're younger, busy with jobs, kids, the stress of everyday life, it's easy to overlook small emotions. The hand-holding becomes less frequent. The glances that once searched for each other become unfamiliar. And then one day, the kids are grown, the nights feel longer, and the house grows quieter. That's when many women suddenly realize they're still living in the same home, but their hearts feel abandoned, lost in the silence and emotional distance. The most painful part isn't being alone. It's feeling alone next to someone who once promised to love and understand you for life. And maybe, just maybe, Maria, a woman now in her 60s, spoke the truth that many others are holding inside. "He hasn't asked how I feel since 1994, not because they stopped loving each other, but because they stopped speaking from the heart." Number 2. I don't need help. I need partnership. Long-term marriage is like a big house. You think you're building it together, until one day the wife realizes she's the only one cleaning every corner, every day, and no one even notices. For decades, the same pattern plays on repeat. You earn the money, I'll handle everything else. And women, patient, devoted, selfless, take care of everything, from the meals to the bedtime routines, from the kids' schoolwork to washing their husband's old shirts. No one told them they had to do it, but they did it with all their heart. And when they finally grow tired, when they need a hand, all they hear is, "Let me help you with that." Help? No, they don't want help. They want partnership. They want someone to share the weight, because that's what a life partner is supposed to do. Every time they hear the word help, it feels like everything they've done isn't really shared. It's just a burden they've been doing for someone else. A 66-year-old woman once told me, "I'm not angry because he's heartless. I'm angry because I've spent my whole life busy, and he's never once asked, "Are you tired?" That line hit me hard, because silence in a marriage doesn't always mean peace. Sometimes, it's just a quiet kind of exhaustion that's been forgotten. Then there are women like Alice, 68 years old, who once said something I'll never forget. "I don't hate my husband. I just hate the way I disappear every time there's work to be done." That kind of pain doesn't have a shape. No one sees it, but it simmers, and it builds, until one day, she stops talking about it altogether, and just goes silent. If you're still watching this video and finding these valuable insights, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3. Silence isn't peace anymore. It's a crack. There's something more frightening than the loudest arguments in a marriage. It's when there's nothing left to say. No more simple questions like, "How was your day? What's on your mind?" No more glances across the room. No more unconscious touches. Just two people living in the same house, but passing each other like strangers in parallel worlds. When the kids move out, when work no longer fills every hour, and the house gets quiet, eerily quiet, that's when the real distance in a marriage starts to show. Many husbands have told themselves, "We don't fight, so everything must be fine." But that's not true. Silence, in many cases, isn't calm. It's emotional withdrawal, a quiet signal that the connection has faded without anyone noticing. As women grow older, they crave something simple, yet deep, real connection. Not roses, not fancy gifts, just to be heard, to be seen, to feel, deep down, I still matter to him. They don't need a handyman. They need someone who can sense what they're feeling, even when they don't say a word. A woman named Kyria, 73 years old, once told me, "I could sit right in front of him, crying, and he wouldn't even lift his head." That sentence sounds quiet, but inside, it's the sound of something breaking. Breaking in trust. Breaking in a hope that took years to build. Number 4. The unseen sacrifices. When was the last time you truly thanked your wife? Not just the usual, "Thanks for the great dinner," but something deeper, something quieter. The kind of gratitude that makes the heart tremble. "Thank you for staying by my side all these years, even during the times I didn't deserve it." Women don't need applause. They don't need flowers or empty compliments. What they long for is recognition. To know that what they gave up, their careers, their youth, their sleep, the tears they swallowed just to keep the family at peace, meant something, that someone actually saw it, felt it, and holds it close. Because when sacrifice becomes just expected, when everything she does, day after day, is met with silence, even the strongest love can begin to run dry. And in that quiet ache, she might find herself wondering, if I've spent my whole life behind the scenes, who am I really living for? Laura, a 68-year-old wife, once told me with tears in her voice, "He never asked me what I wanted. I've run this entire household for decades, and now, he doesn't even ask if I'm okay." It's not because he's cruel. It's just, he got used to her always being there, so used to her presence, that he forgot she's a person too, with feelings, with dreams, and with heartaches of her own. If you're still watching this video and finding these valuable insights, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5. The older she gets, the clearer she sees, and she's done just enduring. There's a quiet truth that many people avoid. The older a woman gets, the more emotionally clear-eyed she becomes. She no longer fears being alone the way she did in her 20s. What she fears more is spending each day beside someone who's physically present, but emotionally absent. She begins to ask herself, how many years do I have left to truly live from my heart? Do I really want to keep spending my life bound by duty, habit, with no real connection? And when she looks over at the man who sat beside her for 30, 40 years, if the tender glances are gone, if the soft goodnight touch has faded, if there are no more small questions like, "How are you really doing?" she doesn't get angry, she just gets sad. Sad that she gave her life to this commitment, only to feel like strangers in the same room. Sad that she gave up so much, and no one ever asked, "Are you still happy?" And so, she grows quiet, but not the kind of silence that protects the relationship. It's the silence before she lets go, whether in body or in spirit. A woman named Emily, 72, once said to me during a counseling session, "He's never yelled at me, but I've never felt so completely alone." Women at this age don't need much. They just want the chance to choose again. But this time, choose love, not routine. They don't need someone just to live with. They need someone to walk with, to feel with, to connect with heart to heart. Don't let the woman you love feel invisible, even while she's still standing right in front of you. Because sometimes people leave without packing a single bag. They simply retreat, quietly, gently, but it hurts deeply. You know what's beautiful? A woman's heart, even when it's been hurt, even when it's tired, always has room for genuine effort. She's not asking for perfection, not grand gestures, just this, to know you still want to understand her. One simple question: how have you been feeling lately? Is there something you've been carrying in silence that you've never told me? If you can ask that and truly listen, you might repair years of distance that both of you thought was too late to fix. Because love after 60 doesn't need roses or luxury vacations. It just needs someone who's still choosing to stay, still choosing to listen, still reaching out a hand, and still willing to grow together. If you're still listening at this point, I believe you're someone who still loves, someone who still hopes, and that is enough to begin again. Not from the very beginning, but from the place where the two of you once lost your way. Send this video to your partner, not to blame, but to understand together, to open a conversation. It might be awkward, it might be quiet, but it can be honest and real, because happiness isn't some luxury. It's something we each have the power to choose, starting today. If you've stayed with me all the way to now, thank you truly. That tells me you still care, that you still hope, that you're still trying to love again, but deeper, more honestly, and in a way that heals. You're not alone in this journey. There are millions of people just like you, learning how to listen again, how to understand again, and most importantly, how to become life partners again. Drop a comment with a number from 1 to 5. Let me know which part of this video spoke to you the most. Or share one small thing you're going to do today to reconnect with the person you once loved with all your heart. Sometimes all it takes is a glance, a gentle question, a soft touch of the hand, and that might just be the beginning of a new chapter in your marriage, one that's gentler, more real, and more alive. And if this video felt helpful to you, please like it, share it, or send it to someone who may need to hear these words too. Because sometimes a single video can be the first spark, the tiny light that opens up a brand new path for two hearts that once lost their way. Thank you for listening, and I truly hope that you and your partner won't just live together, but live side by side, fully present and fully in love.